What's up, everybody? Coach Daisha here, bringing you this week's hot topic. So, obviously, I deal a lot with fitness and exercise and how that is beneficial for helping your bone health. But I obviously get a lot of questions that are kind of outside of that, as far as supplements, nutrition, etc., and how those things can also affect our exercise routines. The most common question I'm getting these days has to do with creatine. So this is a short video to help you understand creatine, what it is, what it does in the body, does it have an effect on bone health, and if you should be taking creatine. So let's get started. First and foremost, creatine is a naturally occurring compound that is in our bodies already, right? We store it in our muscles. We also have it in our brain. So what it does is it helps us regenerate or create ATP. ATP is short for adenosine triphosphate. You don't have to memorize that. Just know that ATP is very important for us because it's our quick energy source. It is where we get energy from when we need to do something that doesn't last that long. So normally less than 60 seconds. So those quick, short bursts of energy. Now, once again, we already have creatine in our bodies, but we can also get it from our diets. So if you eat meat, if you eat fish, etc., those are great sources of creatine. However, as most of us know, you can also take creatine as a supplement. These days, you can find it labeled as creatine monohydrate, and I will talk about later what it looks like from a dosage and a consistency standpoint. Now, does creatine help with bone health? Yes and no. It has more of an indirect effect when it comes to improving bone mineral density. Basically, what we're looking at is creatine is helping us from a muscular standpoint. When creatine is on board, once again, not only is it increasing our ATP, that quick energy source, it is also helping our muscles. It's helping our muscles become stronger, more powerful, etc. We already know that muscles, when they are becoming stronger, are pulling on the bone, therefore increasing our bone mineral density. So that's where creatine comes into play. Because creatine is on board when we are lifting, it's not only improving our muscular strength, it's also giving us the energy that we need for our workouts. Now, keep this in mind. The more energy you have to do your workouts, not only the better the workout gets, but it also helps with form and technique. Form and technique tends to break down when we get tired, when we get fatigued in our workout. If we have more energy on board, then we don't get the form and technique breakdown as quickly as we normally would, and therefore we're able to lift better, more efficiently. So that's where creatine comes into play. From a research standpoint, we know that. We know that creatine is extremely beneficial when it comes to muscular strength and power. There's some research out there that also shows that creatine might be helpful from a bone structure standpoint, that it might actually help our bones become thicker and stronger. There's also some research out there that shows that creatine might be helpful within the bone remodeling cycle. So part of that cycle has to do with bone resorption. That's where bone is actually being broken down, right? So there is some research out there that shows that creatine might be helpful in that phase of it. However, with those research studies, we've got small sample sizes, and we've also got results that aren't what we consider statistically significant. So we can't say for certain that that's what creatine is doing. We can say for certain, however, that creatine is helping with our muscles, and anything that's helping our muscles get stronger are going to help our bones get stronger. So that's where creatine comes into play when it comes to bone health. What I personally love most about creatine these days is the abundant research out there about creatine and our cognitive health. We all place a lot of emphasis, especially with osteoporosis, on how can we build our bones. But we've got to be real here. We've got to think about our entire body and our entire physical health. And part of that is up here, right? In our skull, our brain. So much research out there these days is showing that creatine is helping with mental clarity, helping with reaction time, helping with memory, helping reduce cognitive declines. All of these are wonderful benefits that we should be looking at when it comes to creatine. So yes, can it help with muscles? Awesome. But obviously it's helping with our brain. And since our brain is already storing creatine, if we're starting to lose that throughout the years, it makes sense to replenish it, to keep creatine on board so it can help with all of the cognitive benefits that I just mentioned. Now, here's the kicker. With creatine, this cannot be a once a week, every now and then type thing. Creatine, in order for you to get the benefits, has to be taken daily, consistently. Now, when it comes to dosage, most recommendations are going to fall somewhere around 5 grams per day. Some people take less, some people take more. I encourage you, if you are new to this supplement, start very light. Start with maybe even 2.5 to 3 grams per day to let your body adjust. As you are doing this trial period, you're going to want to increase your water intake. One of the things that creatine can do is pull muscle from other cells, and that can cause a bloating feeling. All right. In order to get rid of that bloat, we want to increase water in the body so we can pee it out, basically. All right. So make sure that when you're doing your trial period, you're not only doing half of a dosage, you're adding more water to your day. And here's the kicker. Once again, you gotta take it daily. So set a timer, make sure you're being consistent with that intake, and you'll be able to start to reap the benefits of creatine. So to wrap this all up, creatine can be beneficial, but think of it as a support supplement when it comes to bone health. Creatine is helping your muscles are helping your bones. And if you're needing help with your own strength training program, I now run an 8-week strength program for women with osteoporosis. It is a great way for you to get one-on-one attention and a personalized workout program just for you. I take 8 people per month, so you got to make sure that you grab your spot as soon as possible. I will drop the link for that program in the description of this video. And that's it for this week's Hot Topic. I hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time.